Alright folks, it's been a while since I made a video, but been busy with members of the family dying and stuff and whatnot. There's just been so much on my plate that I can't even keep up with hardly anything. I mean, I've been getting busy so much that I haven't even been able to make sure that I pay my bills on time, and sometimes don't even know what day it is. But anyways, well, I went turkey hunting a while back, and anyhow, I pulled it out of the freezer about a week ago, and it finally thawed out, and I decided that I was going to make some stuffing, and also cook this turkey. So I'm going to take you along the way as I do it. Right now, what I've done is I've, made sure that there was nothing still inside of it, and gave the neck that I was going to save for a soup. I gave the neck to some ravens, and I'm sure they're going to enjoy it as soon as they see it. But anyhow, right now I'm making some stuffing to stuff that turkey with. And then I patted the turkey dry. The oven has been preheated to 450, which is going to be dropped to 350. It just made temp, and that's why it started beeping. And anyhow, I'll show you something real quick. There's the bullet hole. It just took one shot. I shot that sucker right in the middle of the chest, and it squabbled around for a minute, and then it passed away. But I don't sport hunt. I eat everything that I shoot. So anyhow, in the next frame, we'll show you some more stuff. So here is the stuffing. The water boiled with 4 tablespoons of butter. So now I just got done stirring it up, and I got to put a cover back on it, and I'm going to use this little plate because I don't know where the cover is. I don't know where my aunt put it at, but it's missing. So there's that. That stuffing, when it's done absorbing all the water and the butter, then it's going to go inside that turkey I just showed you. So right now what I'm doing is I'm putting together a rub, a paste, I guess you can call it. Anyhow, this paste is going to be butter, butter flavored salt, pepper, black pepper, and then a little bit of honey. So I'm going to smear that all over the turkey, and that should give it a nice little crisp. Should probably add a little paprika, but there's already pepper in there, so it's going to be kind of like a sweet and spice. I'll show you in the next spot. Hey, I just realized I forgot to tell you that this is sunny days. I hope you're having a good day. And it is 06 June 2025. See you in the next one. So, here's, I'm taking these in little bites of clips of videos, anyhow. So, those of you that don't hunt and don't like hunting and killing animals, I just want to let you know that I don't enjoy killing animals, but I do only do it to eat them, to provide. Because if it isn't going to be me, Bigfoot's going to get them. See you in the next clip. All right, so here's what we got. I'm melting some butter in the microwave with all the seasonings and whatnot. And then once I totally get it completely melted, I'm gonna let it thicken up a little bit. And then I'm gonna brush it onto the turkey. And then we'll show you in the next step on how that looks. But we're getting there. That little piece of butter right there, that was the biggest chunk of butter that I put in there, and it's been very stubborn. I've been putting it in at 30 seconds at a time, that way I don't burn it and boil it, because that will make a mess, and I don't want to clean up a mess if I don't have to. Alright, I'm going to pause this and you will see the next step. Okay, we're back. Looks like that the temperature did get to 450 on the stove, so I turned it back down to 350, and here's where it's at. So now I'm just going to let the stove sit there at 350. And then I'm going to start brushing on that butter mixture with the seasoning. And we'll get that turkey going. Hold on a second. Okay, so the turkey is 21 pounds. And it depends. It's 13 through 15 minutes per pound. So multiply, your weight times the time, and then you need to divide it by 60, and then you'll get your hours. In this case, it's going to be 4.5 hours. So let's get to brushing on that butter. So here's the butter mixture that I made. I'm going to go ahead and stir it all up to try to get most of the solids that are in there, like the pepper and whatnot, and the salt and everything. Try to get it all suspended in the oil, or the butter actually, and then we'll be spreading it on there. So as I mentioned before, there was a time difference per pound, 13 through 15 minutes. And the reason why that is because at lower elevations you'll probably want to use 13, but I always go one notch up. Now look, I didn't pull that feather out all the way. Still the core of the feather. I found a couple of them in there. But anyways, here we go. So we're going to go ahead and start basting. You know what? I shouldn't do that first, because I'm going to get my hands all messy, because I need to put the stuffing in there first, because I'm going to have to pick up that turkey, and I don't want to get my hands all oily. I should be wearing gloves, but I'm all out of them, I think. Alright, hold on one second. Well, it looks like I found some gloves, but they don't fit very well because they're too small. These are only size medium, and I wear a large, but we can make these work. Slide them down my fingers and try to get them to stretch out. I bought a pair of gloves at a Tractor Supply one time. They were a pair of I think they were leather, cowhide. I usually like the deer skin or some other softer skin, because they're more flexible and they're just more soft, and they're easier to work with. But anyways, on that, about the temperature, at different elevations you have different atmospheric pressures. So At higher elevations, there's less atmosphere above you, so there's less air pressure. At sea level, air pressure is roughly 4.2 pounds per square inch. And that matters when you're boiling water and cooking. It's the reason why you always get different times for your cooking time on the instructions. Because with higher atmospheric pressure, which is equal to lower elevation, you have more higher atmospheric pressure, and your boiling temperature for water will actually have to be higher before it boils, because the atmospheric pressure is pushing and surrounding all your little bubbles of gases that are actually in water, like oxygen and hydrogen and all that. And so it has more resistance for those bubbles as they try to expand. There's more pressure on them, and it keeps them from expanding. And that's where you get your boiling. You're just getting, basically, when you're boiling, you're just getting an expansion of gases that they're little bubbles, they expand, and then they rise to the top, and then they basically pop at the top, and the gases go into the atmosphere. So I was at Yellowstone National Park in 2003. Amazing place. I suggest that everybody goes there at least once in your life. And from my experience, when I went, I'd already been studying volcanoes for like 3 years, 2 or 3 years. And now it's 2 years to make it exact. So in 2003, what got me inspired to start studying volcanoes is Mount St. Helens coughed up a bunch of steam and gas. And I was at my desk in Salt Lake, and I saw that article, and I thought, wow, it's amazing. So once I saw that, I gotta flip this bird over. Once I saw that, and I started learning how volcanoes worked and whatnot, I was really impressed with the power. Some of the dangers that come from it are not really lava flow, like per se. You get more lava flow through basaltic volcanoes from a basaltic type magma, which it's magma when it's under the ground, but once it gets above the ground, it's called lava. But anyways, I would suggest anybody go to Yellowstone. But going back to when I went there, I was getting ready to tell you, how much time do you need in that park? That park is gigantic. That volcano is 50 kilometers wide and 80 kilometers long. And I went right when the season was about to end, and I did that on purpose because I didn't want a lot of people to be there, because I didn't want to have to deal with traffic and, me being a little height disadvantaged. I didn't want to deal with having to look over people's shoulders and, to get my videos and pictures and whatnot. So I went when I did, and it was the best time to go. And one of the reasons why that's the best time to go not only because there's less people, but I went during the last week that Yellowstone was going to be open, before they shut down for a week and then reopened for the winter season. So with Yellowstone sitting at 9,500 feet, well, the lake does. Yellowstone Lake is the biggest lake I've ever seen in my life. It's actually the largest high elevation lake in the United States. So it's definitely something to look at. It's a beautiful lake. I thought Lake Tahoe was big when I first went there, because that was the biggest lake I'd ever seen during that time. But Yellowstone dwarfs Lake Tahoe. And Lake Tahoe, I think it's like 22 miles long, 15 miles wide or something like that, or maybe less than that. But it was phenomenal. I saw Lake Tahoe when I was probably I think I was early ages of high school. My friend's dad, that was a 2-time Vietnam veteran. He did 2 tours over there, and he was a veteran from going overseas. But during that time, he was still in the Army, and I've always taken an interest in military and whatnot, and worked on a couple bases and as a contractor. Tried to sign up when I was 18, but they wouldn't take me because of my hearing wasn't good enough. Like that even matters. After you stand next to a howitzer for quite a few hours, even if you have any hearing protection, you are not gonna have the same hearing you had when you first came in. So anyhow, we brushed it all up. I got to stuff it with stuffing. So I'm going to pause this real quick again, and then we'll come back with stuffing in it. Okay, so now we got all the stuffing in. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and tuck these legs back underneath the skin right here. I should have left my gloves on. I don't have to rinse my hands off again. So there we go. That is going to kind of plug that hole up a little bit. We're going to tuck this fat in a little bit. That way when it melts, it goes inside the turkey. Okay, so that's that. And I'm going to wash my hands real quick. We'll go to the next step. Okay, so I got the turkey in the oven now. So we're good to go. And that foil underneath is to protect from splatter, just in case there is any. Some people will cover the entire turkey, but how I do it is I just go ahead and get it going uncovered, and then I check the skin on it every now and then, and I want to get a little crispy skin on there with that butter and those seasonings, and it'll taste amazing. But anyhow, I am gonna go ahead and make this a part 1, because I still have 4.5 hours until that turkey's done. So we'll just stop it now, because I know my phone camera will shut off before 4.5 hours, and then it'll just look stupid because I didn't end it. But anyways, it's sunny days. I hope you guys are having a great day. You know, things out there are tough. AI is really kicking people's jobs butts, because people are losing jobs left and right. And I warned people this was coming. I've been warning people that, you know, through some of my other videos that you'll see, some financial stuff and the dollar value and how it's degrading and all of that. But anyhow, that's enough for that. I hope like everybody's doing great. Anybody having health issues, I hope that you heal quick. I went through a couple. I had a shoulder injury that, bankrupted me at one time. And then I had a back injury. It was an agitated situation. It put me out a week. It put me out for a week. It put me out of work for a week. So, thank God I have some customers that are understanding. And thank you very much, customers. I know you're going to see these videos because I share this stuff with you. But, just take care, be aware of your surroundings, and do everything that you can to prep for any disaster and any financial collapse, job loss, anything. Because if you don't, you're going to be in a world of hurt. So, Sunny Days is out.